from a book showed me the way to be free of the shadows of yesterday. But the price of that freedom we all must pay from now on. Knowing the truth will set us free and take us from clear to eternity, to a future we thought would never be. We stand tall, and your legacy is secure, for we'll keep your vision pure.
But if that's what Mr. Cruz has brought to this world, there still remains one more word on the man. Call it Tom Cruise on Tom Cruise, Scientologist.
Now, Mr. Cruz, what exactly is Scientology?
Ah, God, that's such a great question. I'm so glad you asked me. Now, the thing about Scientology is it's the best thing. You know, it's a way to help people in the world. You know, you see things that other people can't see, and you'll see a car driving down the street, and it's flipped over on its side. Now, I can help people. Scientologists can help people. I can help people in that situation. You know, it's like help me, help you. You know what I'm saying with that? It's coming across. Now, I love Katie Holmes, and I love Katie Holmes.
And my conclusions were that man, he was a spiritual being that was pulled down to the material, the fleshly interests, to an interplay in life that was, in fact, too great for him to confront. And I concluded finally that he needed a hand.
To understand Scientology, you must understand the life and mind of its inventor, L. Ron Hubbard. Hubbard got his start as a science fiction writer in the 1930s. He still holds the Guinness World Record for most published works. One may ask themselves, how could a science fiction writer create a religion that millions follow today? I wonder.
Now, Mr. Hubbard, your discovery of Scientology, this newfangled religion, can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, yes, after my military conquests, where I killed 35 Nazis and overtook the island of Okinawa, all in a day,
Excuse me, Mr.
by
Hubbard,
myself.
Mr. Hubbard, we have on good authority that you were not anywhere close to the Nazis, anywhere in the area. Could you respond to that?
Who do you think you are? I'm a hero.
After Pearl Harbor, Hubbard took command of a subchaser, but he was still a man prone to invention. He would write that he sunk 2 Japanese subs, but in fact, just off the coast of Oregon, he opened fire on what turned out to be a log and dropped most of his depth charges on underwater magnetic rocks. When he accidentally shelled a Mexican island, he was relieved of his command.
The concept of Dianetics is that you have 2 sides of your mind. There is the analytical side, which is a perfect computer. It never makes a mistake. And then there's the reactive side. And this is where all your neuroses and anxieties and fears are stored. And where do they come from? They come from engrams. An engram is like a memory.
Man has an automobile accident. He has a picture of an automobile accident. He has all the sensations of having been hurt in the automobile accident. It takes him a long time to recover because he's still wearing the automobile accident. If you said, hey, why don't you take this automobile accident and throw it away? Why, all of a sudden he recovers from the automobile accident, naturally, because the thing is keeping it impressed upon him and his body is his mind. An auditor is a practitioner in Scientology. He listens and he computes. We have a meter, and a meter simply shows where an individual is aberrated.
The e-meter is a very powerful instrument. It's 1/3 of a lie detector. A lie detector would also measure your respiration and pulse. It's 2 cans, and there's electrical wires carrying an indetectable amount of current into a meter with a needle on it. According to Church of Scientology, it actually detects the mass of your thoughts.
Man is asleep. He is hypnotized. Now, in Scientology, reverse the process, and you make him wake up. Such a man becomes unbrainwashed, you might say. He becomes unhypnotized.
This sounds, Mr. Hubbard, in a sense, like an extension of psychology or psychiatry.
Oh, no. Psychiatry has to do with the insane, and we have nothing to do with the insane whatsoever.
Is this a form of psychoanalysis?
No, psychoanalysis, they lay back. Don't associate Scientology with such people. That's terrible. That's bad manners, you know. That means that the individual has erased his reactive mind, his unconscious mind is gone, and he is totally alert and totally capable.
It doesn't make any sense.
This garbled story that didn't make sense.
I think, remember for one fleeting second thinking, well, maybe it's an insanity test. Maybe if you believe this, they kick you out. Maybe that's it. That, of course, is not the case. They talk about, the fact that the Earth was created at such and such trillions of years ago, and this guy, space guy.
Galactic overlord. This was the prison planet, and people being caught and captured and being brought to planet Earth.
And put them in volcanoes and then blow them up with A-bombs.
Whoa. I studied geography in school. Those volcanoes didn't exist 75 million years ago.
And we have these lost souls all over us, and we have to get rid of them. And I'm going, what? The fuck are you talking about? I'm down for the self-help stuff. I'm down for, okay, I can be clear. I can get rid of the negative emotions. But what the is this?
When you get to the upper levels of Scientology, the creation myth is explained to you. The story is that 75 million years ago, people lived in a world very much like the world of America in the 1950s.
People at that particular time and space were walking around in clothes which looked very remarkably like the clothes they wear at this very minute. And the cars they drove looked exactly the same. And they walked down streets that looked like these streets.
It was a very similar world and similar problems, one of which was overpopulation.
They had elected a fellow by the name of Xenu to the supreme ruler.
There was a tyrannical overlord of the Galactic Confederacy named Xenu. In order to resolve this problem of overpopulation, he called people in ostensibly for tax audits and had them frozen with injections of glycol to their heart.
Boxed them up in boxes, threw them into space planes. DC-8 airplane is the exact copy of the space plane of that day.
They were flown to the prison planet, Tijiak. It's actually the planet Earth. And these frozen bodies were then dropped into volcanoes.
And then they set off hydrogen bombs on the top of each volcano.
And their disembodied spirits, these are called thetans, floated out, and they were captured and forced to sit in front of movie screens.
With a 3D super colossal motion picture.
They were shown images, implants, as Hubbard would have it.
Every man is shown crucified. So is the psychiatrist shown crucified. That's how he gets away with what he gets away with. He electric shocks people.
And when a child is born, a thetan will leap inside the child's body at that very instant, and it becomes like the child's soul. More than one thetan might crowd into the body. Hundreds or thousands might. They're the source of all of our neuroses and fears and anxieties. Then you are on the E-meter by yourself now. You're soloing. You're supposed to scan mentally from your top of your head to your toes to see if you can locate any alien beings. And when you do, you tell them to go away.
Yes, huge ass, but my friends call me Tipper.
It's nice to meet you today, Mr. Rajburns.
My friends call me Mike. Please call me Mike.
Okay, Mike. Say that Scientology has no values or has no American values.
You know what we call them?
What do you call them?
Good old SPs, suppressive people. You know who was an SP?
What's an SP?
Your father. And that's why you turned out the way you did.
What do they call it?
One day I woke up. I woke up in a rehabilitation center because I became too far away from the values of Scientology. You know what game they had us play?
What game have you played?
Musical chairs. But this musical chairs was very sadistic. People would beat each other almost to death and try and get a chair so they can stay in the church. Later we found out that it didn't really matter. They just want to test how committed we were. I almost beat my best friend to death just to stay in the church.
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart?
Besides just the beatings and the nonsense of violence, they are not fans of homosexual people.
I got a whole laundry list of people who are SPs. I'll go down them. Roger Rabbit. Ronald Reagan. I'm fairly certain the late Mrs. Buttersworth. And everyone at the J.C. Penney Corporation.
They attack people who leave the church or say bad things about the church, go against the church.
Again and again, while reporting this story, we met many former members who described Scientology as a dangerous and deeply paranoid organization.
They hire private detectives to harass people. I have been sued twice. Financial ruin.
Years of harassment.
Their homes broken into, have them beaten.
We chased her around, we followed her to the airport.
Gotten hold of personal phone records.
Slash their tires, break their car windows.
I was locked in a chicken wire cage.
Dangerous, horrifying, terrifying fraud. A nightmare.
Many of their stories are corroborated in sworn court testimony by up to a dozen other people. Are they all lying?
They sat in a room. They figured out what they were going to say.
My position as the spokesperson was to evade the question or sleaze around some way or give what was an acceptable answer or something that I believed at the time.
They attack people who leave the church. My dog. My dog Flippers.
Could you just please answer my first question about the values of science?
I don't know what you said. My hearing isn't working.
Why is that?
It's not from being beaten several days a week in a prison run by my overlords, if that's what you were thinking.
Please, sir, the question about Scientology's values.
There are American values, here and there.
Could you explain?
On a chair. I would have them in the rain. I'd have them on a plane. I don't like green eggs and ham.
He's missing, all right?
How long has he been missing?
Well, my values, since I clearly am an OT4, I've learned the ways of Xenu. And Xenu launched B-245 bombers into space. And he dropped dead bodies into volcanoes. And that's where we get it from. That's where the magic comes in.
Sorry.
And I got an email. I know what that email said to me. He's at the bottom of a river. I'm so sorry. I need to go on. I need to go on.
Things American about Scientology?
Yeah.
Tell me something.
What?
Do you consider communism to be like America?
No.
Oh, what about gulags?
I'll give you a couple examples why. The senseless beatings that took place. I was basically an indentured slave, earning 10 cents an hour. That's less than the kids in China making Nike shoes. Besides the low pay, besides the beatings, it was that they weren't accepting of all people. They're not accepting of homosexual people. That's what American society today, 2015, is now becoming more accepting of everyone.
There might not be things American about this, but I'm still here. I could melt you with my mind.
I'm forced to do duties and servitudes I do not want to do. I'm basically, as some would call, a slave. And as far as I know, this is not 1800s America. This is 2015, and yet I am still looked down upon as a slave.
That's me, the jump cut.
That they're still stuck by. I want them to speak out. I want them to speak out, all right? They're being hurled against their will, and they're not. The government is blind to it. They're blind to it. They're. I'm so okay, Mike. I'm so sorry. I know I'm safe here, but when I leave here, I don't know if I'm going to be safe.
It's okay. You can live with me, Mike.
I'll try and live with you. And one more thing. I can't really be saying this on camera because after you may not see me.
If you have any information about the whereabouts of Mike Rochburns, please contact your local authorities.
Scientology came to me one day when I was just sitting down and thinking about why everyone's troubles. And I was just thinking and thinking and thinking and jowly and thinking. And everyone's problems are because thoughts have mass. And so everyone's problems are because they don't think about these things. And we have past lives. And these past life thoughts are still in our thetans. We must get these thetans out. And I am proposing a way to help people with the auditing. You come to our councils, and you talk about your past lives and your memories. And you think about them, and you think real hard, and you give us money because we can help you.
Now,
you give us a lot of money.
Now, it's a lot of money.
We're a religion, you can't tax us. You can't do it.
Mr. Hubbard, we're not trying to tax you right now, all right? Everything's okay. Now, can you tell me about your Take to the Seas initiative?
To the seas!
The Sea Organization was a group of the closest and highest up members of Scientology. LRH made them sign billion-year contracts to participate in this organization. L. Ron got the ship, and he told all the members of the Sea Organization that they were going to look for gold that he had buried in a past life in the Mediterranean. No gold was found. Scientology is a uniquely American religion, mainly because no other country considers them a religion. Some of the things Scientology values are indentured servitude, ducking off taxes, beating people, harassing people through litigation, breaking into the IRS, what else? Escaping to the seas to hide from your problems, which is, running away from your problems on the seas.
It's very definitely off the record and don't use it. But Scientology organizations were probably much more precisely conducted when I was a director of them. I haven't been a director of them some time. So maybe there are abuses. I wouldn't tell anybody else that.
Do you ever think that you might be quite mad?
Oh, yeah. The one man in the world who never believes he's mad is a madman.